Looks like some of the icing has started to dissipate a little bit, though. Okay, 55 gallons per hour, 317 cruise. It's nice. Terrain. Actually see terrain. How much of the RAM are you using? Usually about 20 gigs. Joan Mill, thank you for 51. Right, I'm just going to nip for a bio break. I shall be right back. How are we doing? Who's flying the plane? The plane. What cabin pressurization LC should I be aiming for on the TBM? It's automated. It shows you here what's going on. So you can see the maximum pressure differential you can deal with here, and it's given us about an 8,000, what it feels like in the cabin. The problem is the rate more than anything. TBM doesn't pressurize very quickly, so if you ascend or descend too quickly, it can't really catch up. At least we've got some good weather. Intercept our nav again. Would I suggest getting the Steam version or the Microsoft version? I mean, you get this. At the end of the day, you get exactly the same sim. It just depends what your preferred platform is, really. When you zoom the global map, you can't see any airports landmarks. Check your filters at the bottom. I think that if you click on at the bottom, there's a filter list. Check you've got things turned on. That's a nice view. Navigated around some shonky weather. You've requested to join Air Squirrel. I promise I can land a plane. Lol. FS Economy just wants you to be in the vicinity of the airport. Like if you landed next to the airport, next to the runway, and put the parking brake on, it would go, oh, that's fine. This is tea, Yorkshire tea. I just noticed somebody's chipped my tea, my cup. Quite badly, I might add. I don't know if you can see that. Right there. Chip my cup. Are you sponsored by Yorkshire Tea? I wish. Sadly not. The parking brake wouldn't do much when you're in a tree. Oh yeah, but FS Economy's fine with that. Look at that, all the ice is gone. Nice. Turn all that off now. Can you say hectopascals? Sadly, there doesn't seem to be a way of doing it very easily. I think one of the airliners lets it, maybe the Airbus, but in here, I don't know how you change it in the TBM. It's probably supposed to be in the Garmin somewhere. Like you'd expect it to be under other settings. Like if you click the altitude unit there, I would have thought that would switch between inches of mercury and hectopascals, but it doesn't, so I'm guessing they just didn't implement that yet. But donuts, I would love a glider in this game. I really would. Like, I've never done gliding, and I'd really like to try. But I'd like to try it in this sim. So if they brought like a glider DLC, which came with some training videos and just explain like how to, you know, how to catch a lift and I'd love that. I'd so get into that. Riding thermals. That'd be amazing. If they do it properly, it would be amazing. Not so nice that way, is it? Yeah, my one of my instructors is a glider pilot and a glider instructor, and he kept going on about it. When we used to go flying, he kept going on about it, and how if you learn to glide, it makes you a better pilot, which I can totally believe. The A5's a decent glider. Lol. Connor, thank 58 months. I don't know, Connor. Do you own an aircraft? No. Aircraft are not cheap. Actually see the ground these days. Planning a real cross-country flight in Microsoft Flight Sim. Nice. Wow, the clouds. Clouds are like cotton wool buds right now. Like, this is terrain I have never flown over in a sim, like, ever. Planes are like boats. Best days of owning them are the day you buy them and the day that you sell them. It depends. If you know what you're getting into when you buy a plane, if you know what you're getting into, you probably won't regret it. But you just have to accept that it's an expense. Planes are going cheap at the moment. Where are planes going cheap right now? Because I've not seen any going that cheap. That's fantastic scenery, look at that. Do you keep the data cache on? Yeah, 500 gigabytes. On an SSD. If you hit the lottery, which GA plane in Microsoft Flight Sim GA lineup would you own? What, if I won the lottery for real, which plane would I fly? I'd probably go with... Jeez. Maybe like a Cessna 182, something around that bracket. You know, something that can do about 160, 170 knots with some decent Garmin equipment. If I could afford an SR22 Cirrus, I would love one of those, but they're like 400 grand or something. Well, Anthony, think of it this way. If you've got the hard drive space, or the SSD space, if you create a cache, the worst that can happen is it'll download stuff there and you won't fly over it again. But if that's the case, when that cache fills up, it'll delete it. But that's space that you never need to, stuff that you never need to re-download. So you're saving yourself internet bandwidth, ultimately. Yeah, I went in Max's SR22 a few years ago and it was, it's a really nice plane. And the best thing about it is it has that cap system, so it has a parachute, basically. If all else fails, you can actually deploy the parachute. I mean, I gave it a 500 gig cache, but I can't actually see what it's doing with it, which I find a bit frustrating. Like, the cache is there, but it just says, oh, 500 gigs, thanks very much. How much are you using? I don't know. So I'm looking at this weather here. I'm seeing a bit more activity down here. MMZ, so that's fine because all of that's below us. So all the weather's... We're sitting on top of all the weather right now, which I'm happy about. Espirito Santo, welcome back. Pull up Task Manager, you can see when it writes to the hard drive. Yeah, but I don't know how much space it's using is what I'm saying. Out of my 500 gig, is it only using like 10? It says usage in settings. In which settings? In the sim? Do you have to buy yourself better planes with the money you earn, or can you do it in any plane you want? In FSE, you can rent any plane you want as long as you've got something similar in the sim. Well, not necessarily, Zeno. So when you create the rolling cache, it creates a file of that size. So when I created a 500 gig cache, it created a 500 gigabyte file. A bit like Windows does with like page files. But you can't see into the file, like you don't know how much it's using in there. It doesn't give you any metrics currently. Ozone, welcome back. Do you know how to fix live traffic FPS drops? The patch coming this week fixes a nameplate problem. So if you've got nameplates on the traffic, that causes FPS drops. They're patching that. Apart from that, no. That is some lovely scenery. Yeah, I'm not going to go to my settings, Jetstream, not in the middle of a flight like this. No way. Too risky. We discussed how some people are not getting weather generated. You know if that includes winds aloft in North America. GIGL SUK. Basically, with the live weather problem, it seems to be an all or nothing. You either get live weather or you get clear blue skies and no weather. If you look at those clouds, there's some like proper rising nimbus clouds here. Sorry, cumulus clouds. And here, and a lot darker. And then in the distance there's some little fluffy ones and flat ones. It's so good. That's what makes it look so good, is it's like not repetitive. A lot of flight sims are just repetitive clouds. Yeah, right now, Chilly Blessed, I'm just restarting the sim after every flight. That's the best way to get live weather, I think. Didn't fix it for me when I run as admin. You see other people, it's an option when you start your flights. You can choose what you see, basically. You can just turn it off and see nobody. Andy Mark 3. Love the flight sim content here on YouTube. Looking forward to more tutorials. Thank you, Andy. Yeah, I need to think about what the next one's going to be, actually. There's a few options. I might do some kind of navigation stuff. The problem is, like, with the nav stuff, you kind of have to explain how some things work before you can teach nav. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to teach somebody how to fly VOR, then you have to teach them how VORs actually work and help them to visualize it first. And then you can teach them a nav by VOR. If you try and do it without teaching them how VORs work, it's just, they're not going to get it. But in order to teach how VORs work, you kind of need to bring up diagrams and stuff. Oops. How are we getting on? 27,000. 332 ground speed, nice. Still got wind coming in from the right. Flying towards some heavy stuff here. We're above it, so we're good. Fuel, 150 gallons. Should be okay for fuel. Burning 56, so I'll put it back slightly. I want to burn about 55, really. See, if you look where we are, the coast is coming up, so if the sky clears a little bit, we should start seeing the coastline as well. Which would be nice. We're going to do a group flight this weekend. So what I'm planning on doing is either tonight or in the morning, I'll come up with a route, and then tomorrow evening we'll do a group flight. I'm not running on a preset fuel. Well, if you run the engine in the red, what do you think will happen? If you've got failures turned off, nothing. You can do tutorials on FS economy. So I've got a video going out tomorrow which has some FS economy in it, and I'm basically asking people in that video if they want some kind of FS economy tutorial. So I'll gauge the interest first. Like, I don't want to make a tutorial that nobody wants. David Robb, thank you for subbing. How much FPS? 57. Remember, I've got it capped out at 60, so I'll never go over 60. 58, 57 at the moment. Go to on-air instead, the UI drives you crazy. Yeah, fair enough. There's no group flights though in on-air, is there? No, I'm using... what I do is I flick the frequency of my monitors down to 60, and then I use Afterburner to limit the frame rate to 59.97 of the game, and that basically caps the FPS of the game. Yes, they're Stream Decks. You should make a poll on YouTube to see if people want an FSC. Do you know what? I always forget about YouTube polls. It's a good idea. I always forget that YouTube has a way of creating polls. The trouble is, I didn't ask in the video, so I can't really do that now. You've mapped your shift into third gear, landing gear up, fourth gear, landing gear down. Yeah, the problem with that is if you accidentally knock this, your gear's going to come down, right? You think they got rid of YouTube polls? Really? That surprises me. Right, we're still above the weather. So there's a break in the weather here, so we'll definitely get some good views there. But look at the weather out there, it looks nasty. Properly nasty weather out here. We went from Phoenix down to some random airfield, which I can't remember the name of. AZ-26, that well-known airfield, which was basically like a grass strip runway. And then we're taking 6 corporate jet passengers down to MM2F, which is Coahuayana, on the coast in Mexico. Hey, look at that. They've got an FBO down here that's selling Jet A for $3.59. Nice. That's good. Means I can refuel. Well, Hungry Panda, the real way of checking is just spawning the aircraft and look. And see if it has any glass in it. But all the airliners do. And then the TBM does, the Caravan does, the Diamonds do. Like, you just need to spawn in. Is it even worth it to buy an aircraft in SF economy? Well, that's a tough one to answer, but I would say yes, it must be, because if it wasn't, then you wouldn't have groups buying planes. The fact that groups can turn a profit by renting planes out tells you all you need to know. Are you smuggling corporate men to Mexico? No, these 6 VIPs that we're taking, these 6 passengers we're taking to Mexico are businessmen. They're looking to buy paracetamols and ibuprofen. That's what they said. For some well-known pharmaceutical companies, they said. Yeah, so I'm fine. That's fine with me. I'm just going to fly them down there. I'll have to see if they want a return trip. I don't know. Well, Mexico makes the best paracetamol, is what they said. Jasper Aviation. Welcome back. Make sure the buses are landing. We've got to find the airfield first. Well, I don't know. If we can get a return trip with some cargo, that would be great. You know? Maybe like 6 passengers and a load of cargo. A lot of paracetamols, that'd be great. About to pass over NZT and then head towards Lily. There you go. Falling nautical. And a break in the weather. How do we activate the timer in this thing? Must work. In some of the other Garmins, the timer works, but I can't see how we access it in this. Sensors doesn't work. on the other screen. No, I mean, no, this is just a general timer. It's just a count-up timer. Literally like a stopwatch. But unlike the caravan, you can access it. Not like the distance track times. I don't mean that. I mean literally a timer. Maybe it's just not there. Is that nasty weather? It's going to be an interesting approach. If the clouds are like this when we're coming into land, this is going to be very interesting. It's not under PFD, Tommy. There's nothing there like PFD. Then what? PFD mode? No. Bearing can't be. Other settings, not in there. Where the radar controls doesn't work. Map range changes this. Traffic inset doesn't work. What does the inertial separator do? Put the inertial separator on when you're on the ground. After you take off, turn it off. PFD menu at the bottom in front of the throttle. Nav source, bearing, speed books, timers. Start. Ah, it's working now. Stop, reset. There you go. It's in here. Minimums. What are the minimums is for this airfield? Oh, we can't get any information for it, can we? No idea. .85 knots approach. Oh well, at least we know now to how to put the timer on. IT technician, thank you for 4 years, sir. Hope you're well. Anyone able to tell me if this is like IRL time, like you do a flight, you would take 3 hours? That's literally what we're doing right now. Although, if you're a real wimp, you can actually accelerate time in the sim. There's the coastline, look. That's the Pacific Ocean right there. Yeah, this is a 3-hour flight and it's taken us 3 hours. Is there a timer or a way to see what sim rate you're on? I had no idea. No. The timer's just literally a timer. ETA for this trip. I wish I could tell you. If I'd have started a timer at the beginning, I'd have had a chance, but for some reason the FMS in this thing doesn't tell you how long it's going to take to get there. So I don't think this is counting down. Although if you believe that 265, and we're doing a ground speed of 330, if you believe that, then we should be there in 45 minutes, but I'm not sure if I believe that. You could have launched a rocket in Factorio this time. Speeding up time and changing fuel load and FSC counts as cheating and the flight will not be registered. Apparently, over trucks, people were saying that if you accelerate time in the sim, so let's see if I've understood this correctly. If you've got a 3-hour flight and you fly it in real time, when you land, Flight Sim Economy will say that's a 3-hour flight. If you take off and double the speed of the sim, it will take you an hour and a half to get there, but when you land, FSE will take that as 6 hours for the flight. As in, if you double the sim rate, it will double the time that you've flown. And you're only allowed to fly 30 hours out in every 48. That's what people say. I have not tested it because I never change the sim rate when I'm on FSE. So if that's true, it's a weird loophole. Time acceleration is completely allowed in FSE rules, there you go. But they have that limit. I just find that weird. I don't honestly think they shouldn't allow time acceleration, but that's just me. There's the break in the clouds. Kelly Hitch, thank you 59. Hope you're well, Kelly. I don't know why it got cancelled. If you messed about with your fuel, maybe it did. This is actually some nice coastline. Like, if there wasn't as many clouds, this would be an amazing view. Visual versus airspeed is deceptive, looks like slow-mo. That's to do with the parallax effect. The closer you are to something at a certain speed, the faster you kind of perceive it to be going. So if you like sit in a truck and do 50 miles an hour, it feels a lot slower than if you sit on a skateboard and do 50 miles an hour. You're going the same speed, but your perception of it is completely different because when you're on a skateboard, you're really close to the ground. We're heading to an airfield in Mexico. Whether we'll make it, I don't know. You haven't flown any IFR flights yet on Microsoft Flight Sim, only VFR, do you recommend it? You'll probably find yourself flying visually anyway when you come into land. Now you want to go 50 miles an hour on a skateboard? Try it. I guarantee you'll enjoy it. Can you use FS economy money you make in other flight sims? No. It literally belongs entirely in the world of FS economy. You can't exchange them for Fortnite skins. They're not those kind of V-Bucks. Wait, is this basically saying that it's... Go away! It's 40 nautical to destination? Is it really saying that? No. Yes. No, it's 255 nautical. What the heck is that nonsense then? It says 40, then 265. Huh? That's just bizarre. I really don't understand that flight log thing. Executive ibuprofen passenger 3. How long till landing? You think it does it backwards? 200 to the next waypoint, 400 to destination. Wait, hang on. 200 to the next waypoint, 400 to destination. What are you seeing this? You on about this? Distance 251, that's to the next waypoint, which happens to be the airfield. Yeah, you can use this sim with X-Plane, P2D, FSX, and Microsoft Flight Sim. Graz BRM, welcome back. Oh yeah, now we're talking. A 250 nautical's not that far. So what was the runway? Runway was... Is it like 0.5? Doesn't actually tell us. I need to find some jobs nearby for this one. Do you know if the A320 has auto landing features? I don't believe so. Well, it shouldn't have. Yeah, Manager Graham, I'm still... Honestly, the FSE, like, UI is a struggle. What is all that? Does Flight Sim tell you when it's updating with a patch after checking for updates incorporated into progress bar? I believe it checks for patches as it starts up. So if you quit it and restart it, it'll patch. Using ATT, what do you mean? That is some weird scenery. What is that? What is that? That's... Why is it so, like... Just doesn't look natural. Anyone here did VATSIM and FSE together? Wait for the Sim Connect patch this week and then you should be good to go on that one. Aliens, as if. Trying to work out when we should start descending. How do you get the weather and clouds in the middle of the cockpit screen? Well, this lot. So you normally it's on that mode, which is your map mode. If you need to click on MFD, and then click on weather, and then click weather selection, and you can go through these different modes here. That one is like a top view. And obviously you can zoom in and out. And then the middle one is your horizontal radar, so it's like looking out the front of your plane in a cone. And you notice the markers here, like the distance is 75 nautical. If you use the zoom on that, you can zoom in and out as well. And then the final one is a vertical radar, so this is your plane here. You can see where I am. Plus or minus 6,000 feet, so that's about what? 2,000-ish below us? all that kind of cloud, heavy rain. So we're going to have to pass through that in order to get, you know, down where we want to be. Yeah, the weather's been interesting all the way down here, to be honest. We had some icing at one point. Once we get down under the clouds, maybe it won't be so bad. We'll have to see. Yeah, so our estimated time en route is 40 minutes. 330 ground speed is going to give us mental maths. So about 1600 feet per minute descent will give us a 3-degree glide slope. 1600 feet per minute, we can do 16,000 in 10 minutes. So we can be down to 11k in 10 minutes if we descend at 1,600. So that's something to bear in mind. So maybe we want to do that around about the 30-minute mark. We'll get down to about 11k. Three times flight level is a good gauge for top of descent. 3 times flight level. So 270 times 3. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean 3 times 27? I don't know how that... Give me an example. We're at 270, so what do you mean? Airport destination code. There's some debate over that one. MM2F, or there was another code that we had, MM66. Sky Vector knows it as MM66. So elevation 200 feet. We're looking at a 1.5 kilometer hard runway on 05, so that's good. It's completely landable. We're just gonna have to vector ourselves in. Top of descent, 270 divided by 3. Well, he said times by 3. Well, we're 200 away right now. So you reckon about 80? I think I want to get down a bit earlier than that. I reckon 100 nautical out should give us a little bit of a buffer. Captain Charisma, thank you for 1.5 years. What I plan to do is descend, and then I'll probably go heading mode, take us out over the sea a little bit, and then see if we can vector ourselves in for a visual into 05. That's what I want to do. ETE is your estimated time en route. Think of it as ETA, but with a weird name. Okay for fuel as well. 120 gallons left. And we've got half an hour, so we're going to burn about another 30 gallons-ish. Plenty of fuel left. some free tools for flight charts and flight planning. Sky Vector's pretty good. Sky Vector's like, particularly if you're in the US, has some very good stuff like free charts built in. Well, that's what I was doing, Captain Beanie. I was working it out for my ground speed. Sometimes when you activate autopilot, it sets your trim all the way down and tries to kill you. Is that a bug? It depends what mode it was in when you activated autopilot. Like, the AP can be a bit aggressive in directing you, but it only does what you told it to do, in essence. There is no approach at this airport. Put it this way. SimBrief doesn't know about the airport, Navigraph doesn't know about the airport, SkyVector does know about the airport. So even if it does have one, I can't load it up. Yeah, it might be like a local municipal. How's the real life flying? I booked an instructor. He's not available next week, so I'm booking in with him the week after. So we're back up in the air in a couple of weeks, which I'm really looking forward to. I suppose I'll have to wear a mask all the time while flying with him, which will be really, really dull. No, I don't think you'll find there's a Starbucks here. Do I have a PPL? Yes, I do, but it's expiring at the end of September, so basically I need to either do 12 hours of flying and then a simple 1 hour check ride, or I need to go and do a proficiency check, which is a more involved thing involving an examiner. So one's like recertification by experience, the other one's like literally doing a proficiency check. See, I would have easily had 12 hours experience if Corona hadn't hit, but the CAA allows me to extend my rating till November the 20th, I think it is. So basically I have between now and November of 20th to do 12 hours of flying. If I do that, I can just recertify by experience, which is a lot simpler. Will you go for your instrument rating at some point? I did start my instrument rating and then I had to stop it because I did all that Google VR 180 stuff and I didn't have time to do it all. So I stopped doing my instrument stuff. I really want to do it, but I don't know. Part of me just like wants to focus heavily on it, and like one of the thoughts I've had is just going over to the States and just bucking into one of the flight schools for like 2 weeks and just, you know, just head down, go for it, and get the instrument rating over there, and then bring it back. That's one thought I've had. I didn't like doing it piecemeal. I kind of wanted to just get my head down and get on with it. And flying in the States is generally cheaper and the equipment's generally better. So I thought maybe that's the way to go, but I don't know. Plus you can go to places where the weather's a lot more guaranteed. Whereas in the UK, you know, you can be rained out for like half of a week easily. Yeah, I'm not talking about, I mean, we're talking like 2021 beyond, you know. I mean, while the whole COVID thing runs riot, all bets are off anyway, right? But getting my instrument rating is something I want to do. But then if I get my instrument rating, I don't really have access to any good aircraft that I can keep, you know, I can properly utilize my instrument rating. So I just don't know. You know there's more airplanes in the sea than submarines in the sky? Well, obviously. Too bad sim hours don't count. I think sim hours can count if you do it on a certified... If you fly on a CAA or FAA certified sim, then you can count about up to 10 or 12 hours on a sim, so you can do it. How you rectifying certificates don't expire, currency does. SE, your ratings expire. Your license is for life, but your rating is not. So you have to recert your single engine piston rating, which I had it for 2 years. And I'll recert and get it for another 2 years. Matt South African, hope you're well, sir. 73 months, thank you, mate. Oh, there's a lot of hills here. I wonder whether we should just, like, vector ourselves south again. Avoid that nasty weather. Run down the coast a little bit. Coming over the sea might be a bit easier. Yeah, I'm hoping the weather's going to clear up. Mr. Tambo, thank you for subbing. But I had so many plans for flying in 2020 and it all got thrown out the window. In April I was booked to fly to France with an instructor, and I was like, well, once I've done that, I'll go and fly to France with some friends, you know, I'll take some trips over the continent, do all kinds of things, and then along came Corona and just messed with it all, like everybody else's plans. So maybe next year you can fly to France. Does anyone know when your rental time expires on FS Economy? So your rental time only expires. So your rental time, JT, is to stop people from renting an aircraft and then you're not even flying, just like, you know, going out to the cinema and leaving the aircraft locked. So if the server has no communication from you about that plane for the maximum period of time, it will release the aircraft. So while you're flying, it will never expire. Think of it that way. Who was that host? 1 second. Music Man, thank you very much, dude. Thank you for the host. Hope you had a nice stream. So yeah, it's just there as a safety net. But once you start flying, it won't expire. Thank you, Bruce. How does the TBM default game compare to IRL? I've never flown a TBM IRL. I'm not rated on a turboprop. Like, this is why you have ratings, like, because I can fly a single engine piston, but I can't fly something like this, which is a turboprop. So you have to train onto this. It wouldn't be that difficult, but it's, you know, there's a bunch of learning that you have to go through around these engines. Oh, you don't require one in the US. That's interesting. What? So you can basically get your PPL and then jump into a turboprop. That's nuts. That's like passing your driving test and just going out in a Ferrari. Wow. That is amazing. 140 nautical to destination. Let's bring our heading back slightly. Also want to get away from all these mountainous terrain as well. I'm guessing though that the thing that would stop you from doing that is insurance. Yeah? I mean, I know for a fact at my flight school, you can't hire some of the planes unless you have 100 hours of flying experience. So I'm guessing on a TBM, there would be an insurance requirement of like 100 hours experience. There normally is on something that powerful. El Plagiato, thank you for gifting a sub to Spins and Wheelies. And Bruce Walker Maxa, thank you for 4. 100 hours is a small amount. Dude, it's not. It's not. It takes a while to do it. Let's say you fly like 5 hours a week. Yeah, that's 5 months before you have 100 hours. It doesn't sound a lot, but it really is. And 5 hours flying around at like 100 knots, that's... You're going places. Never mind the cost. Like 100 odd, you know, 100 and something dollars an hour times 100 hours. Weather's clearing up. 100 hours is easy if you're autopiloting across the pond. Yeah. I think we are going to have to head out towards the sea if we're going to descend properly. I don't fancy descending into these mountains. Actually look at the terrain. So if we keep flying south, the hilliness will kind of end here. And then we can descend out over the sea, vector ourselves in. That's what I'm thinking. There's a bit of rain out here, but I don't know what altitude that's at. I'm hoping we can get underneath it. Mr. Brett Sand, thank you for 31 months. Another month, another small contribution to Bezo. Hope you and the fam are well. Thank you, sir. I'm doing well here. We're just on a monster flight down to Mexico, but we'll be descending soon. No, I don't run ultra settings. If you rent a TBM IRL, it'll be like 1,200 euros per hour. Yeah. That's generally what puts people off. Yep, we're doing an FSE flight. This is one of the Squirrel planes, 264 Sierra Quebec. My hour's about 80, I think. I'm not on 100 yet. I should have been on 100 by now. But Corona. Yeah, it's looking good. The scenery around here is looking nice. We're just plotting our descent now. You see all these mountains start flattening out here, and then we're going to descend down over the sea and come back. South America. I've done Chile. Chile was nice. We did a group flight in Chile last week. That was really nice. I might do. I'm going to do another group flight tomorrow. I'm thinking of going back to South America. Bruce Solari, are you close to Hurricane Laura? No. Are you looking into buying part of the plane? At some point I want to, yes. I would really like maybe like a 4 or 5 split ownership of a decent plane. I'm more looking to fly something like a bit more modern. That's what I'd want to do. Okay, we are going to have to descend pretty soon. Is there much difference getting rated for a twin prop than a single? A lot of it involves doing single engine failure stuff, and also when you do your every time you get your rating again, you have to do single engine climb outs and stuff like that. So there is more work to it, but it's entirely doable. Can we join our Squirrel? Yeah, are you still getting planes? No, you can join. But just be aware, we're basically going to start pulling reports of people who are flying and people who are not flying for the group. And if you're not flying for the group and doing stuff, then... So don't join unless you're going to fly for our Squirrel, is what I'm saying. It's amazing down there, look at it. I installed SimConnect. Your buddy's been trying to get you to buy an old plane and get your license. You're tempted. Just bear in mind there's nothing cheap in aviation. Right, we're pretty much coming up on our descent point. I think I'll descend now because I've got we need to make sure our glide slope's not too steep. With all these mountains going on. So rather than doing 1600, let's do 1200. Can you kick Vrome? He said he joined but has not flown, puppies. Well, you know, we're going to give people time, but yeah. He's not exempt from being kicked if he doesn't fly. You can't just join and not fly. There's no point. I'm also looking to try and like do some reports and see like, you know, who's flown the most for the group, who's flown the furthest, who's earned the most money, like doing some monthly top 10s or top 3s. Just depends if we can put the reports together. The clouds look like they're reasonably scattered, which is nice. You join the group and want to go and kind of lay fallow. You probably get kicked if you don't fly, Lotheran. Like, we want active members at the end of the day. Yeah, it's fine, Nikolai. Get used to FS economy and then apply. Well, the way I see it is, if we manage to find a grass-strip runway almost in the middle of the night in Arizona, we can find this. Is our Squirrel a global venture? Nah, it's just fun. All our planes are in the United States though at the moment. Of course, when we get some more money, we'll get some more planes. I want to get some on the East Coast, and then I'll get some in Europe. Australia? I'd have to have a look at what FS economy's like in Australia. Like if there's lots of places that you can fly that, you know, have like decent job generation. That's really what it's about. Like you can basically home a plane anywhere in the world, but if there's no jobs there, there's no point on FS economy. Nobody will rent it. Should have a setup cam. There you go. There's a setup cam. Been flying 14 hours last 2 days in Australia. It has lots of jobs. Okay, well that's promising. What is it? Little piece. You love Skyvetch in the background. Well, it's just here in case I want to drag it in. The resolution that I play at here is the resolution that I literally see what you see. If I was to play it full screen, not only would it tax my graphics card more, but you can't see that stuff. Like, there's no point having stuff off the screen. Mrs. Squirrel's bringing me pizza. Oh yeah. Right, let's increase our descent right now. Yeah, I think it is pepperoni. There's the coast. Do you think the volume of people flying will come back eventually? Do I like my monitor? Dude. Do you know, like, I can't remember how long it was ago. Earlier this year? I can't remember. Last year? I don't know. Asus sent me this monitor and said review it, so I reviewed it, and then I had to send it back. And I sent it back, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to get one of those monitors one day when I build a rig. Then I built a rig, and I put that monitor on it. And the irony here is that when Asus want the monitor sent back, on the way back to them, the couriers dropped it and smashed it. And I'm like, if you'd have left it with me, it wouldn't be smashed. But yeah, that's what happened. Thank you. In-flight meal service. What more can you ask for?
Just a later.
Yeah. Ding. Can I have some wine? Oh, nice! Look at that. Lovely bay, though. Is it first class or coach? I have no idea. It's chopped up into small baby-sized pieces, though. Yeah, she cut it up because it's a damn sight easier to eat when you're streaming. You can join the company, yes. You can join Air Squirrel, but like I say, you need to make sure you're flying for Air Squirrel if you do. Mrs. Squirrel's a legend helipilot. When you do eventually make it over here, you'll find out. Does it cost money to have inactive members? Nah. It doesn't. But some people join and then don't fly for the group, which is entirely pointless. And frankly, if they're not flying at all, what is the point being in the group? I reckon I can have eaten my pizza by the time we need to land this baby. What's the point in joining a group? Because you can then fly the planes in the group, and then the group can buy more planes, and then ultimately we can start creating FBOs, we can create assignments, you can do all kinds of other stuff. That is some nice view right there. Now you want pizza, sorry. This is the price you pay for me not taking a 1 hour break. Nah, Langeveld. You can't crash a plane in FS economy. So we know that the airfield's got a 200-foot elevation, so it's pretty much down at sea level. So if we get ourselves to about 2,000 or 3,000 feet, and then come in and glide down, we should be good. The group's on 45% at the moment, I think. What FBOs, I don't know. When we get enough money, we'll have to look at what's available. At the moment, we're only adding planes that are in Microsoft Flight Sim, because those planes will be available in other flight sims already, so...
Oh, yeah.
Things like the TBMs and the caravans, the ones that pay really well in FS economy, because you can carry lots of people. Now the citation burns fuel. The Latitude burns fuel way too heavily right now in Microsoft Flight Sim. And also, I don't know if you got a Latitude, like realistically how much money you're going to make over a TBM. I really don't know. Rather Fat Norseman, welcome back. KS Rango, can you play this game with the mouse and keyboard? I really want to get into it. It's not easy, but it doesn't really have a mouse yoke, so it's kind of difficult. Probably the minimum you're going to need is an Xbox controller. Zigoku, what you can do is own a plane and lease it to the group. Keyboard flying is horrible. I agree. Honeycomb or go home. Sounds like the Boeing slogan. Got some cloud ahead. Okay, I reckon they're about, what, 1,000 feet below? So if we go down to 5,000, we'll be underneath them. Best rudder pedals. You know what? I still didn't mount my TPRs. I've got MFGs at the moment. No, Mr. Pilot. There's no real money involved. It's all virtual flight sim money in FS economy. You earn virtual dollars, you spend virtual dollars. There's nothing to do with real money. Yoku, thank you, welcome back. Outside air temperature is 17 Celsius, so we're all good. No risk of icing at the moment. There's actually an airfield just before that little bay over there. So much for that. We're not going to get underneath. I can't remember. I thought the TBM was standard. I can't remember. I'm pretty certain it's standard plane. Right, 5,000 feet. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. At 19 Celsius, even with moisture, there's no risk of ice. It's quite warm outside. 7 hours from Heathrow to Orlando. Nice. So I think our airfield's over here somewhere.